Okay, if you are an anxious, empathic, overwhelmed woman that second guesses herself, you're in the right place, because I take anxious, overwhelmed, empathic women that are second guessing themselves to confident, joyful, centered women who trust themselves. I'm Tanya Teche, and let me show you how I do this. So I work on the layers. There's layers to this change. And when we don't just treat the symptoms or the behaviors and we go deep, the change sticks. So it's not like meditation or medication or manifestation techniques that work for a little while. This is change work that works fundamentally at your root. It's like the soil. It's like where everything comes from. So it's going to stick. It's going to change. And what I say is you can behave differently without having to force it. You can behave differently without having to remember to behave differently. And it's really cool stuff. But for this video, what I'm going to share with you is actually one of the programs, how I do that. So there are different exercises that I've also talked about too, such as the family dinner table and finding your imprint. So there's really cool, fun things that we do. It's not like therapy. And I'm going to lead, just to give you a little taste of what we do, I have a quiz, an empath quiz. It's free. I'm going to paste the link in the comments or the description or the show notes. And you can go ahead and check that out and see what type of empath you are, because actually there are more than one type of empath, and the quiz result will give you like an actionable step that you can start doing now, a shift that you can start doing now, so you can taste how this works. It's not just, you're reading things. And what we do, the way we do it, is you get exercises to embody the healing, to embody the upgrade. Okay, so check out that free quiz. What type of empath am I? Okay, so back to one of the ways I do this with myself and with clients is I take you through modules through steps, like foundational blocks. Okay, I call them modules for the sake of simplicity right now. I'll just call them modules. And I would really love to go through I'll go through all 8 of them with you now. But when we're working in a group setting, you have this curriculum, and one of the first module is to uncover your program. Uncover your programming. So you would take yourself through these modules on your own, and then we meet once a week all together for me to coach you personally, and for you guys to learn from each other, and also that sense of feeling not alone, and that tribe sense that you're supporting each other is super helpful for change too. So module 1 is to uncover your programming. And I've said it before and I'll say it again, and I thought I knew what my programming is. You do not know what your programming is. Even when you think you know, you don't know. Even when you've done these exercises and you've figured some programming out, like the finding your imprint exercise, you find out like what your style of relating is. Or the family dinner table, you find out a program that had been installed in your system as a little one before you could even speak. These are all wonderful, life-changing, transformative things to understand, to know, feel, and understand. And also, there's more. And it's cool. It's actually become something that's fun, and it's like a treasure hunt, really, truly. So module 1 is uncovering your programming, and exercises, actually a lot of paradigms, a lot of new ways of believing that we talk about in module 1. Module 2 is continuing to set that foundation for your inevitable success. Because if we set conditions up for success, you're just going to be funneled along, kind of like those the bumpers on a bowling alley for the kids and for me when you can't, when you roll the ball and it's going to go down because the bumpers are there. So we're going to set up bumpers that are going to prime your foundation for inevitable success. And I'll take you through the process of that in module 2. Module 3 is like the really cool exercises, like that family dinner table that I love so much, that unlocks like not even just a key in your own life, but a key in generations. Like you might understand why grandmom did what grandmom did, or grandpa did what grandpa did, or the light bulbs that go off is just extraordinary, and there's no looking back after it. It's so worth it. That alone is just an incredible exercise by itself, let alone combined with everything else we'll be doing. So then the module 4 is something I help you understand what we call ecology. You don't need to understand it right now, but I'll just introduce the idea of it, the gist of it to you. I teach you an important secret of why we as humans subconsciously allow ourselves to only have a limited amount of good, or a limited amount of love, or a limited amount of money, or a limited amount of friends. So until you understand this secret sauce and how it works, your system will never feel like it's safe enough for you to have the improvements that you truly want and that you dream of. Your system will sabotage it in some way until it's convinced that it's safe. And this is like key. This is like the secret sauce, understanding your ecology. If you don't, you're going to keep second guessing yourself and sabotaging your best efforts at healing, at creating, at everything, at belonging, at loving, all of it. So that's a really good one. Okay. And module 5, I introduce you to what's called family constellations, and we play a little bit in that. It's actually, building off of module 3 when we do the family dinner table, and you're going to get to know that you have a nervous system individually, but also your family has a nervous system as well. And there are things in that nervous system, if you think of like a garden, or actually if you think of forest, think of a forest, and underneath the forest is a network of roots that you just can't see. Well, they're informing each other of different things. It's a scientific fact that trees, the mycelium network, they communicate. And that's what's happening in your family too. It's not like words are being said. It's things are being passed down. So you could have a similar experience to great grandma Josephine, and you never met her, of course, and you never even heard of that story, but you find out later in something you're navigating or dealing that she did that too. And it's just patterns will repeat in family lines until, and this is the way it is, until someone heals them and upgrades them. So if there's something that is puzzling to you as an undercurrent, this is where we uncover it, and we start to, I give you the tools actually to the resources and the tools to find these gems, these treasures yourself, even though they might not feel like a treasure. Like, there was a history of famine and scarcity, or there was a history of loss or stillbirths or addiction. These things are going to empower you when you understand that great uncle Willie, his relationship with his wife. These things are not where we're not going to build houses and live in this drama or this sadness or these things that we discover. But what we do is we take them and we use them as power and healing. And that's what is meant by healing. The Indian saying, healing 7 generations before and 7 generations back. So we get into that in module 5 when I introduce you to family constellations. Okay. I want to remind you too, to get started, just an easy way. I know this is like a lot that I'm talking about, but if you're still here, wonderful. It's really cool stuff like you could geek out on. And, I certainly have for years, decades now, but there's always some magic to discover and some healing that's just incredible. It's just, yeah. Okay. I'll give you some examples too, but for now, I just want to pause and remind you guys to check out that empath quiz. That's a free quiz that's going to tell you what kind of empath you are, how that presents in your life. It's going to give words to that, and what you need, primarily what your number one need is, like to feel, to shift if you're an overthinker, for example, to shift from the brain into the body and processing, moving your body, or just an introduction to a remedy. So it's not just going to tell you what you are, what type you are. It's also going to give you next steps. And that's really important. I want you to know it's going to be a resource for you already off the bat. So that's the free empath quiz. What type of empath am I? And it's going to be linked in the show notes. So go ahead and click on that. And then I'll move on to module 6. So module 6 is when we start. So the first 5 modules are like we were building a foundation, new soil. We're fertilizing the soil. We're turning it over. We're, aerating it, making sure it's good. We're digging up the worms. We're making sure everything's in there because the worms are needed too, and the bugs. That's all necessary. The sunshine, the air, everything. So we're digging up the soil and creating a really wonderful foundation. And then what we do after that in module 6 is we start to think about the wings of where to fly. Where do you want to go? What do you want instead? We cleaned up the foundation. We cleaned up the earth. We cleaned up the roots. Where do you want to go from now on? And so one of the exercises in module 6 is, I know you've probably heard of the vision board, but this is a living vision board. This is done a little bit differently, because the thing about manifestation techniques and vision board and that kind of thing, what's so powerful about that is not just the seeing it or imagining it. That's great, but also you need to activate that emotion in your system. So we do the vision board a little bit differently. It's our little different take on the vision board, but it's awesome. You'll love it. And then we get into module 7, where we grow your nervous system's capacity for joy. This is a real thing. It's tied also to, understanding your ecology and having, not sabotaging yourself. Because when you start to get into this level where you're seeing results and you're achieving everything you're achieving step by step, you're making progress, you're achieving things you dreamt of, you doubled or tripled your income, you found the love of your life, you love yourself, you love spending time with yourself, you're not afraid anymore, you're not anxious, you trust. You know that when something goes wrong in the day, it's going to work out even better. You know that. You're not just telling yourself that, you know that, when that starts to happen, what can happen next is you're leveling up, right? So your nervous system can kind of be like, whoa, wait a second. Wait just a second here. This is a little, again, it's an echo of the previous module. It's like, this is a little bit too much good. So what we do is we have exercises that prime your nervous system for more good, more love, more money, more career satisfaction, more creative satisfaction, more freedom, more trust, more health, more wellness, more peace, more joy, more of all the good stuff. That's module 7. Module 8, we actually explore the incredible world of the messages that come through your dreams. Okay, this is not just pulling out a book and seeing, oh, what does a lizard in my dream mean, or what does I don't know, a zebra swimming mean, right? It's not that at all. It's so much cooler. It's so much more personalized to you, and it's like a decoder. It's like a secret decoder pen that's going to unlock messages that I believe are from God and from, behind that veil. Like when you start to forget a dream, you had it, it's almost like you can't grab it. Well, those messages, we're going to translate them for you. And they are, when I tell you, they are freaking amazing in helping you, deal with, navigate your life. When you unlock with that secret decoder pen, when you unlock what these messages, what these dreams are telling you, you don't want to miss out on that. You don't want to miss out on all this help that we have at our fingertips, really. So I teach you how to do that in module 8. And then finally, there's a bonus module, module 9. Well, actually, let's just call it bonus module. And that's about forgiveness, self-forgiveness, forgiving yourself. Because when you unlock this and you really start to forgive yourself, it just enhances and amplifies everything else I've already spoken about. So this is one of the programs, this is one of the courses that I teach, how to, what I'm talking about, go from an overwhelmed, anxious, empathic woman who's constantly second-guessing herself, doubting, feeling nostalgic, feeling guilty, feeling worried, feeling overwhelmed, that just barely keeping her nose above water, to a woman who is confident, joyous, centered, balanced, knows that if something gets knocked off during the day, it's something better is coming along. And like I said earlier, you're not just telling yourself that, you really feel it. To a woman who trusts herself and trust her judgment, trust her heart, trust her intuition. And that's what we do here. So this is a course. It's called Find Your Peace. It's an online course, and it has a component where we coach together, group coaching once a week. And but for now, to get started, what I'd really like to share with you actually is that free empath quiz. Go ahead and get a taste of what kind of empath you are there. And then I'll also include more info, ways to look into more about how you can learn about the course if you're interested. But if there's only one thing you're going to do, definitely do the empath quiz, and or share a comment, ask a question. I'd love to hear. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Ciao for now.